Hey everyone, I am here today with Anna Hall, and this is our second interview together. The first one we just did on the podcast, and this time we are all dressed in our finest for the episode. I'm very keen to introduce you to Anna. She originally was a member of ENFP Unleashed, and that's how I got to know her. And she is a financial wizard and a super mom. And I love to share her wisdom because it's things I am not great at being a super mom. I know you're shocked by that. And I'm also not great with finances. I'm great with making money and spending it in cool ways that give me a really good life. But in terms of like budgeting or making plans or investing, these are not areas of strength. So always happy to learn from Anna. Do you want to start off, maybe tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you for that wonderful introduction. And just for the record, I did say that he may have looked tired, but but it wasn't bad. Anyway, so I'm Anna Hall. I'm married to an ISTJ, my complete opposite, and I have 5 kids, one on the way, and we're a military family. That's really big. We have traveled to so many states, the big ones really, California, Florida, Vegas. I consider that a state in its own. And we're originally from Arizona, and now we are in New Mexico. So we are just a big, happy, traveling bunch. Okay, maybe not happy all the time, but we do travel a lot. So that's what's going on right now, Dan.
Awesome. And I don't know if I actually said you are an ENFP. I think people often assume that on the channel, but so you are the ENFP supermom. And
Right.
I'll add that in also for Google's algorithm, even if people all could already tell you are an ENFP. Google needs to know so people see the video.
Totally.
So let's maybe start off a bit on the financial side. The last time we spoke, you mentioned you were on track for some very good financial goals and that you're doing that on a very normal income with a big family.
Mhm.
And I don't know, maybe if you want to get into a bit about when you started to get interested in taking care of your finances and figuring out all that stuff that isn't always easy for us ENFPs.
Yeah, sure. And I've heard that a lot, that ENFPs just it's too rigid. But I found a way to make it work, and it started about 14 years ago. At our wedding, a woman gave us a book, and it was the Dave Ramsey book. And I know that it's hard to get through some of his books, but I loved the program because it was little pieces, and it's basically 7 baby steps to financial freedom. And I adapted that to our our situation. Everything around us was always changing. We joined the military. We had kids right away, so it was definitely a necessity to have some sort of financial foundation for us, because I had maybe $20 to my name when we first were married. My husband had to pay for my wedding dress, so I just knew nothing. I didn't know anything. And so this book was handed to me, and it's what I knew, and it's what I ran with. Um, so just to give you an overview of what those 7 baby steps are, I'll just run through it really fast. So baby step number 1 is put $1,000 in the beginner emergency fund. Like, I believe the stat is 78% of Americans can't cover a $500 emergency. So it's really big here, to have that. So $1,000 is there to help you get that emergency covered, but still be able to go on to baby step 2, which is pay off all debt, using the debt snowball, meaning you line up your debts from smallest to largest and you knock them out no matter what the interest rate is. Because
Can I
yeah,
interrupt you on these a bit? Maybe we can explore each one a little bit
sure.
with them, because I like taking something that's simple and clear and then diluting it by talking about it way too much and confusing people.
Yeah,
That's
Jen,
what I
let's
do
do
here.
it.
And the part about the rainy day fund, as someone who's been in that position, I think it's much more powerful than it sounds like, because you have these goals and targets, and actually ENFPs can be really good with staying on target when it's very clear.
Mhm.
Like I decided for the first 3 months at least of this year on a bunch of things I was going to do, one of which was stopping drinking, one of which was involving like certain time off electronics and everything like that. The drinking has been going perfectly because it's black and white, like you do or you don't. Whereas the spending certain time off electronics, I started giving myself some gray zone. Like, okay, well, after a late coaching call, I can watch one movie, and then
Mhm.
it's been getting weaker and weaker every week aspect. And I think I would imagine part of the reason for the rainy day fund is if you're on track and you're saving a certain amount every month and you're feeling really good, and then suddenly you lose all that money or you add more credit debt, you then lose all your
Momentum.
emotional motivation and momentum. Yeah.
Totally. And you said it. Yeah, I didn't have to explain it. That's exactly right. We have the $1,000 in beginner fund to keep the momentum going, because you're going strong on baby step 2, trying to get rid of this debt and knocking it out. That something big happens, the tires blow, the water heater blows, whatever, you can cover that and you can replenish it after you use it. But it's there to get your momentum going and get you as quickly get you through baby step 2 as quickly as possible. So yeah.
And I suppose the debt is very similar, because I I remember hearing people talk about, well, if it's low interest, you might be better reinvesting or doing other things. And sometimes low interest debt, in theory, makes sense if you're an ENTJ robot, where you could borrow at 3% and then invest, but psychologically it messes with you, and it's very weird to think of this like intangible thing. Oh, I owe $40,000 somewhere, like, and so money loses its feeling of being real. At least that has been my experience in the past.
Exactly. And these baby steps are definitely behavioral based. They are made for humans because we aren't all robots. It gets you fired up. If you talk to someone who's gone through the program, and they call it, they even have a term for it, gazelle intense, because when a cheetah is chasing a gazelle, that gazelle is running for its life. So that's what baby step 2 is compared to. Like, you're a gazelle running from debt as quickly and as fast as you can so you can get to baby step 3, which is put 3 to 6 months of expenses into savings as a full emergency fund. So that basically looks like, what are you spending baseline in a month? And you times that by 3, or you times that by 6. So if it's times by 3, then you're in like a stable government job that you don't really see yourself moving from. If it's a 6-month emergency fund, you're in a job that's like, you're not sure how much income you're going to get in this month. Like a lot of entrepreneurs, you want to be closer to that 6-month mark because you're not sure if you're going to get income in the next month, or how big the income will be. So and that's baby step 3. Baby step 4, after you put 3 to 6 months of expenses into your savings account, is to start investing 15%. Now, 15% is a magic number that they came up with after years and years. And I say they, I meant Dave Ramsey's team over there. They came up with this number because 20% was just a little too much for people, and then 10% was way too little. So it's just a number that he found that worked for pretty much everybody across the board. 50% of your household income into a Roth IRA, and tax-favored retirement plans. So the reason why Dave is so big on Roth IRAs, and this is where I have hired a financial, not a financial planner, the person who does the stock market. What do you call that person? That word.
Stockbroker, investment advisor, something like
Investment
that.
advisor. And this is where I've hired an investment advisor because this is its own little world. And this takes like lots to understand. So he does all of our Roth and stuff. But I can tell you a Roth IRA it's taxed now when you put money in so that you're not taxed at the inflated rate by the time you're ready to retire or when you can start pooling at 59 and a half. So that's why Roths are pretty good for that. And they're also just mutual funds. Mutual funds are awesome because a bunch of people are putting into this once, a pool of people putting into this stock, and they it's just less risky than doing single stocks. So anyway, I'm gonna stop there before I like go into things I don't understand. But that's basically the safer route when you're playing with the stock market is a Roth IRA. But you also have your 401k. And let me just backtrack a little bit and say, if you had the choice between doing a company Roth, a company 401k and your own Roth, and the company matches what you put into it for the 401k, you definitely want to do that one first because that's free money that you're getting before you put it into the Roth. So just so you know, Roths aren't always number one. If someone's giving you free money, you go for that first.
For anyone watching in Canada, the UK, or whatever, every country we have our own versions of these. Usually in Canada, we have the RRSP, which is where you're not taxed on that money until you take it out. So it's the reverse, it sounds like. And then we have a tax-free savings account, which is you pay the tax now and then you can invest in whatever the profits are. You don't pay tax on the profits. So it's basically taking advantage of these government programs because I don't know if everyone always does the math on how much taxes impact your investments. Because if you're losing 20 to 50% when you make the money, and then when that money makes you money, you're losing 30%, 20% on the gains you make. Mm-hmm. When you compound that over 30 or 40 years, it's a huge amount of money that goes away. So anything you can do to save on that, whether it's government programs or if you're a little more extreme like me, like living in different countries with different tax setups or whatever it happens to be, it makes a huge compound difference.
That's cool, Dan. So there's that, baby step 4. And then baby step 5, save for your kids' college. Baby step 6, pay off your home early. And baby step 7 is the best one, build wealth and give. Now, an important thing to understand about baby steps is you get through baby step 1, 2, and 3 as quickly as you can. And then when you get to 4, 5, and 6, that's when you can just let it coast. So the money, just let it flow in and not be so aggressive as you were in 1, 2, and 3. But you want to get 1, 2, and 3 knocked out. And then let 4, 5, and 6 just kind of come and do what you can. But that is the gist of the program that I've followed. For us, a growing family, we have done this over the years, but because we were able to get to baby step 4 pretty quickly, which is invest 15%, we're on track, to be millionaires in our late 40s. So we're really excited because we have 6 kids. Who can say that in America? In the United States, I have 6 kids, and we're going to be millionaires. And that's
maybe a couple movie stars.
Maybe, yeah.
They may not know their kids, but it's a different situation.
And we're far from movie stars. My husband, he's a pharmacist, so it's a great vocation that he chose. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and our kids still have swim, and they have all these extracurriculars, and they're expensive. Kids are very expensive, but luckily I've taught my kids how to play with rocks and sticks more than lots of expensive toys. But it works for us. That's our dynamic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the gist of it. It's very possible you can do it, and it's a crock pot plan, not an instant pot plan. You know what an instant pot is, right?
Yeah, I think
It,
so. Yeah.
it's a pressure cooker. Anyway, so yeah, this is going to take a while, but if you want to be wealthy later on because you're growing a family right now, this is definitely something you want to look into. Like I said, I started with Dave Ramsey's book, and it's called The Total Money Makeover. And that's just how we started. And then I just got the fever of, drinking the Kool-Aid of looking into financial stuff. And it's been fun to learn about um, how money can work for people. I'm more interested in the behavioral part of it than the numbers side of it, but they go hand in hand.